Hi, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. What's the taste of Louisiana? It's really hard to describe because there are just so many flavors here. One company in Calcasieu Parish is sweetening the palate. As TWILA's Neil Melanson shows us, Bayou Rum, just off of Interstate 10 in Lacassine, takes local Louisiana sugarcane and makes that spirit go all the way around the world.
Bayou Rum isn't hard to find. You can easily see the sprawling campus from the interstate in Lacassine. What you might not know is that inside is a world-class distillery, a bar, a gift shop, and an event center. According to master blender Renel Vicente, it's designed to be a destination stop for travelers while they expand this Louisiana product worldwide.
Bayou Rum, it is in 48 states of the United States and in more than 50 different countries around the world.
Renel says the main ingredient is the Louisiana sugarcane, which makes a molasses that has its own unique flavor.
What we have today and what is Bayou Rum today, it is a representation of what Louisiana can do from the beginning, from the land to a bottle, that we can enjoy it every day.
I got to try some of the pure product, which is distilled from both molasses and raw sugar. Renel says you can still taste those locally sourced products from Patu & Sons Mill.
And today, Bayou Rum, the flavor profile that Bayou Rum has is because we are using sugar cane that is from Louisiana. And it is not just that is the sugar cane from Louisiana, it's the mills from where we get those sugar cane. We are working with the oldest mill operating in Louisiana.
A native of Cuba by way of the Dominican Republic, Renel's dad made rum in Cuba and brings his Caribbean experience to Bayou Rum. He sees the same family pride he has whenever a sugarcane farmer visits the facility.
I can remember seeing different farmers coming to here and come with their family. And they are so proud because this makes proud them to say, hey son, look, you see this bottle? You see this rum? It's made with my sugar. It's made with what we have in our backyard, what we are cultivating, what we are working hard, and this is something that we can show to the world.
Here in the event center, they're getting ready for a wedding. Guests have ready access to Bayou Rum cocktails, of course, but you don't have to be getting married to get one. In their fully stocked bar, John Masinger offers tours and libations.
Visually, they're all going to kind of tell you what they're going to taste like for the most part, but a lot of them, you'll have these preconceived notions because there are other types of alcohol that are made the same way, but it's only until when you come in here you actually get to see what Louisiana and Bayou Rum actually, brings to the table and makes them stand out above all other alcohols that are made basically the same way.
Something that goes beyond the quality of the products bottled here at Bayou Rum is the quality of their hospitality. John was nice enough to make me this old-fashioned using only Bayou Rum ingredients, and the taste really comes across, not only just in the flavor profile, but in the way that they do things here. Everything, every attention to detail is just amazing here at the facility. You should come on out to Lacassine and see it. Reporting from Lacassine, I'm Neil Melanson.
I see you're working real hard there, Neil. Thanks. You can try Bayou Rum for yourself. As you could tell, the bar is well stocked. There's a tour that you could take. There's also an event center at the distillery, and you can find Bayou Rum at your local grocery store. We'll link you to the Bayou Rum website on our website, twilatv.org. COVID-19 was the worst disruption to global oil demand in modern history, according to some experts. Companies went bankrupt, and the owners had to find new ways to make a living. As Taylor Fry shows us, a Colorado oil and gas company found hope by using its equipment to clean dairy lagoons across the country, including at Duncan Acres Dairy right here in Louisiana.
Brent Duncan has worked on this dairy farm his entire life.
I'm 61 years old. I grew up on this farm.
He and his wife Lori have raised thousands of dairy cows in their life, which produced a lot of milk and a lot of...
As you know, whenever you have animals, you have manure, so...
With 3 loafing barns and 600 head of cattle, you can about imagine the amount of manure that is moved from the loafing barns to this lagoon, where it's then diluted with water. But as a long-term solution, this is not working for Duncan.
We had looked at several other different ideas, trying to recapture our manure and recapture our solids.
While Duncan was thinking of ways to reuse his manure, so was Jason Edwards, Vice President of Clearwater Products, an oil field solid controls company.
We run quite a few drilling rigs in multi-states, and we were doing pretty well.
But like most businesses in 2020, Clearwater Products took a huge hit. The coronavirus pandemic caused the global oil demand to plummet, causing many oil companies to go bankrupt. But Edwards and his business partners had other plans.
After that hit, we kind of were already dabbling in the environmental side of things, and so we just kind of went full bore and decided to kind of transition over. Some of the revenue and accounts that we had lost on oil and gas was an easy transition over to the dairy side of things.
So how do the oil industry and dairy farms relate? Co-owner of Clearwater Products, Brody Hansen, explains that the equipment used to control solids in the oil field is the same equipment they use to clean dairy lagoons.
Everything is closed loop now. They're not allowed to have big pits like this anymore, especially in Colorado, is where we're from.
By closed loop, he means the waste produced while drilling or dairying must be recycled. Duncan wants to also function in a closed loop system because it's better for the environment and his pocketbook.
The way we're going to take this manure and separate it and compost it and put it back on the field, it's a way of reusing that product.
This machine uses a dredge that floats in the lagoon to collect the solids. It then pumps the material to these shakers that shake the big solids, and the centrifuge spins the remaining solids and place the water back into the lagoon. Jordan Rockwell, Vice President of Dredging Environmental, says not many people are doing this because of the availability of the equipment.
I mean, you need everything we have with the centrifuges and the dredge, which is out there for people to use. But as far as I know, we're one of the first people that are, putting the dredge with the centrifuges to get this dry product out of the lagoons instead of just pumping it out to a field.
What they're doing here with this shakers and centrifuges is unbelievable. The product that's coming out of those shakers and the product that's coming out of the centrifuges is a beautiful product.
Brent's dad, Ray Duncan, who started the farm 71 years ago, is amazed at how far the farm has come.
I think that's quite an invention.
Between installing this state-of-the-art dairy go-round and now creating this closed-loop system, it's a testament to what Duncan and farmers and ranchers alike are doing to provide food and fiber to the world. In Franklinton, Louisiana, I'm Taylor Fry for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Clearwater Products is working with designers and engineers to create a permanent structure blueprint to hopefully enable dairy farmers to clean their lagoons more often. To learn more about these products, visit our website at twilatv.org. Spring is finally here, and I don't know of a better way to celebrate than with some Louisiana seafood. In this edition of Field to Feast, Jennifer Finley takes us to Tony's Seafood to find all you need for a crawfish boil, fresh fish for the grill, or today's special, Louisiana shrimp.
Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana and its local ingredients. This morning, we're at Tony's Seafood, where I'm going to meet up with my good friend, Yvette Bonanno. We're going to pick up some delicious shrimp, cook up some Louisiana rice, and have ourselves a great time. Come join us.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board. Think rice.
Charles Dupuis here at Tony's Seafood, learning all about this local Louisiana shrimp. This truly looks like Louisiana Seafood Disney World.
It kind of is. We're almost a tourist destination. We do get a lot of folks coming through that are interested in seeing Louisiana food, and it's a destination.
So talk to me about the headless shrimp.
Okay, so the headless, if you don't need the head, you're not boiling, you don't need that head for stock, well, it just, save a little money and save a little time and just go with the headless. So these are great for frying, sauteing, anything you don't want to do with them. And then a little further down, if you're just lazy, we have peeled and deveined, and it just saves you a lot of time.
What's the importance of shopping locally, of buying locally, of having our fresh seafood?
Well, it goes without saying, you're going to have the best quality. You're going to get the best price. And then shopping within the season, of course, shrimp, we're out of crab season now, we're getting ready to get in crawfish season. The demand is there, the supply is there, the price is going to be lower. So if you're kind of eating that way, with Louisiana seafood, you can't go wrong.
How long have you been doing this kind of business?
Well, this kind of business since 1980. Believe it or not, I worked in bussing tables at a restaurant in 1980. And then since then, I've been in the food business ever since. Bussing tables through high school and college, went to management with Piccadilly Cafeterias for a short time, food brokerage, food sales, and started here in '94.
Do you love what you do? What's the future?
It's fun. Future's here until retirement, I imagine. So that's always something to look forward to. But I'm a cook, so it's just fun to be here when all the different cooks come in and they're talking about, what I'm going to do this weekend, and I'll see somebody buying jumbo lump crab. What you doing with that? Because that's usually a special occasion. And they get to talk about, man, I'm making this dip. You won't believe how good it is. Or, I'm getting crab fingers. I'm doing that butter saute thing. And so that's just fun talking with folks. And, there's so many amazing cooks that come here because this is one of the places you can get the right ingredients.
Well, this sounds fantastic. I'm so excited that we get to start here. We're heading to Yvette Bonanno's kitchen with some of this beautiful shrimp. And we're going to have one of those recipes, so we'll have to swap recipes when I come back.
So we're going to go with the large shrimp, maybe like 3 pounds.
Sounds
This should be
great.
enough for us and crew.
I don't know. We'll have
maybe
to see.
some
We might
friends.
have to come back.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I'm ready too.
Yeah,
Let's go.
do.
We're back from an amazing trip to Tony's Seafood where we picked up this delicious local shrimp. Yvette, wow.
How amazing was that?
It was so fun.
Every time I go in there, I'm just like a kid in the candy store.
Well, the
I truly
fish, the shrimp, everything is so fresh.
Yeah, and I just, the shrimp is one of the things that you can cook really fast for your family. There's no time, very little prep, depending on how you want to buy the shrimp. So I'm just ready to get started.
What are we going to be doing today?
So Mardi Gras, unfortunately the parades are canceled, but people are still doing the king cakes. I thought we would do a sauteed shrimp dish with using Louisiana jasmine rice.
Yes.
And then do a Mardi Gras slaw to sit right on top.
Perfect, and perfect for the Lenten season as well.
And just kind of taking some of the fat out, but not compromising on the flavor.
That is always a win.
Okay, well, let's get started on the rice.
Okay.
Just because that's what's going to take about 18 minutes to cook.
Louisiana rice.
Yes.
Yes.
I love this brand. It's a jasmine rice.
Okay.
You don't have to rinse it. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio. 2 parts water, 1 part of your rice.
Why do you not have to rinse it? Because I will say I was raised where my Nana was rinse.
You know what?
Rinse your rice.
A lot of the basmati rice, the different varietals of rice, some of that starch needs to be rinsed off. But this product, I've had a lot of success with it. Goes into the pot with the boiling water, and we're just going to season it. We want to season it with a little bit of salt and olive oil.
Okay, so you're putting olive oil in your rice.
Yes, and that's gonna
very cool.
It's gonna help it just not to be sticky. And then we're just gonna give it a stir. We're gonna bring it kind of back up to that boil, and then we'll cut it down to a simmer and put the lid on. Forget about it. So
Next up is
now we're gonna go ahead and do the slaw.
Okay, so we've got the lemon juice, the olive oil, and what else?
So we're gonna use a local honey
Okay.
that I picked up at Red Stick Spice Company.
Perfect.
It's called Janway's, and it's local here in Baton Rouge that they're processing. They've been in business now, packaging for about 7-8 years.
It looks delicious.
And
it looks like you could just...
So we're just gonna add that honey to it.
Okay.
Salt and pepper is gonna go in just to season it.
Easy, easy peasy.
And then that is the dressing. So to this, we're gonna do purple cabbage, yellow squash, and cucumber. So we're just gonna do just a little julienne on the cabbage. And our cucumber, we're gonna use a mandolin. You can certainly use a knife to do it, but I find that this is a very easy, convenient tool to use.
Yes.
Just be careful. And now for the yellow squash. Make sure you're washing your vegetables. To this, we're gonna add some green onions. And we're just gonna cut them on the bias or on the angle. What we're gonna do is we'll take the shrimp.
I can help with this. You know, I've been doing this for a long time.
Remove
and
the head.
Absolutely, one of my favorite things to do in life is peel and defang shrimp.
And we're gonna leave the tail on.
It's like a pastime.
So now what we wanna do is put the shrimp on the paper towel.
Okay.
And what that is gonna do is just absorb a lot of that moisture.
Okay.
So when we go to saute, we've got our pan that's hot.
Yes.
And in French, saute actually means to jump. So hot pan, little bit of fat, food product goes in. If your shrimp are wet, it's almost like they're gonna poach. We're gonna season our shrimp top and bottom. So now to the pan, we're gonna go ahead and add the shrimp, and this is what we wanna hear.
Yes. It's always a good sound coming from the kitchen.
So we're gonna deglaze, which basically means remove all of the particulates into the sauce, into the food product.
Ooh, that looks so good.
We're gonna allow that to reduce for just 1 moment. So our rice, ready to go. So we're just gonna fluff it.
Look how pretty that is.
Oh, and if you don't mind tossing that salad
I
for
would
me, all that
love-
dressing was at the bottom
Yes.
and all of the vegetables.
Happy Mardi Gras. I feel like I should be catching beads.
And see how fast it came together. I mean, it truly, you know, just doesn't take minutes.
This is a gorgeous dinner. That is delicious.
So much flavor. We reduced some of the calories. Of course, it's a pretty plate, but I hope you enjoyed it.
Happy Mardi Gras.
To you too. Cheers.
Here's to Louisiana fresh seafood.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Of course, Tony's Seafood is also an excellent place in Baton Rouge to get fresh Louisiana crawfish straight from our Louisiana farmers, one of the many places to do that in the state. With Easter coming up, it's a great time to break out the big old crawfish pot, get a couple of sacks and feed the family, while also supporting the families who bring those crawfish from the field to our table. So of course, let's take a look at Tony's Seafood, which has those sacks brought directly from farmers for $4.29 a pound live and hot fresh boiled crawfish for $5.29 a pound. In the Lake Charles area, Carlos Boil and Go has them for $3.49 a pound live and $6.29 a pound for boiled. In Monroe, Randall's Fine Meats has crawfish for $3.50 a pound live and $5.99 a pound boiled. Remember to call or use the Crawfish app to check prices in your area before you go to get them, as they can change, especially before the weekend. And as Carl Wiggers found out this past weekend, they may be selling out, so it's best to know before you make that drive. Now, these crawfish prices are brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, which reminds you to always ask before you eat. When we come back, we honor the heart of the farm for National Women's Month. Stay with us. March is Women's History Month, a time to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. And what better example of all those achievements wrapped into one package than a woman in agriculture? In this week's TWILA Boost, we bring you a video Kristen Oakes-White put together for a previous Louisiana Farm Bureau convention to honor all of the women who are truly the heart of the farm.
is no average day. There's you wake up and there's you go to sleep, and then anything in between is just whatever happens that day.
It's a never-ending job. I know what Adam does every day is a hard job. He leaves at 7 o'clock in the morning. I may not see him again until 10 o'clock at night, but it's the little things you have to do between then. Take the kids to school. I go to my job.
Juggling farm, juggling the office here, the office that I go to off farm. I leave work and I come home to work.
It is stressful at times. They have some long nights and long stretches where they're working on the weekends. It makes it hard to plan.
There are times where I am a single mom for several weeks at a time.
It definitely requires a commitment of a wife that is willing to put up with the long hours and understand the long hours, and you have to be strong enough to be able to do a lot of it on your own.
You always do it. It's a never-ending cycle.
I really didn't have an agricultural background. I lived in town, so to speak. Within blocks of where rice field was, but never was exposed to agriculture. When you marry into a German farm family, you learn quickly, and you learn to appreciate what they know and what they do.
My grandmother, her whole role was to have breakfast fixed, to have lunch fixed, and if they were harvesting late, is to have supper fixed and ready, and to raise the children and to make sure the clothes were washed. And that was it. Today, I do far much more than that.
Making sure checks go out on time and this person gets emailed and this call gets returned.
The employment contracts, the leases that we need.
We have to work together. We are a team. I am a farmer as well as he is.
Well, I think it makes the whole relationship stronger, and therefore everything is better.
You have to have love to be able to do this. You can't do it without it. You have to be able to have each other's back. Whenever one's going through a rough time, you have to be able to comfort them and get them back going.
Farming is a lot of sacrifice. We've sacrificed a lot, but it's something that we enjoy and it's something that we're passionate about. So the downs make the ups a lot sweeter.
There's a love for this lifestyle and a love for what we're doing here that was probably instilled in him from birth. My little boy said tractor before he said mom. So when you ask us why we do this, it's not for the glory, and it's not for the love of, seeing a plant grow. We can plant begonias and see that. I think it's more for the lifestyle and seeing the kids understand where the food comes from and being able to give them a good life.
I think having our kids grow up around a farm, it teaches them so many lessons and values that they keep the rest of their life.
That does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we send Carl Wiggers off to get an education in how to boil crawfish. Maybe he'll teach us a little something along the way. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can also find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on so you'll know when we put out new content. For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.